Hey, it's John Lee Dumas of EO Fire, and it's the Entrepreneurial You, the show for dedicated and passionate Caribbean entrepreneurs seeking daily inspiration, brought to you by author, speaker, and award-winning entrepreneur Heneka Watkis-Porter. You must be prepared to ignite.
Coming up on this episode of the Entrepreneurial You
have to be fearless. You have to not care about what people say. You have to not care about the fact that you may fail 10 times.
Welcome back to the Entrepreneurial You. I'm your host, Heneka Watkis-Porter. Our guest today is a trailblazer in the field of tech, an award-winning blogger. She is the founder of Silicon Carib and co-founder and chief digital strategist at Get Connected. She's also the leading lady behind many of those meetups and pitch competitions, Caribbean tech conferences, Caribbean-wide hackathons, and so many other technologically based events that we have here, right here in the Caribbean. I'm talking about the amazingly dynamic, badass entrepreneur, Ingrid Riley. Welcome, Ingrid, to the Entrepreneurial You.
Well, thank you. I didn't even have to pay for that intro. That is kind of cool. Thank you so much.
Oh my
gosh,
it's a pleasure to have you. And I should say welcome back, because you remember when we just started the Entrepreneurial series on Pro 106 FM right here in Jamaica, you were on season 1.
Yes.
So now we're doing it bigger and better. Now we're doing a podcast. And I must also let our peak performers know, those in our community, that guess what? You were so instrumental in having this podcast started, because I remember our conversation after that conference that you presented at, right? And the rest is history. Here I am today, right? So thank you so much. You're really, really very instrumental in this, and we appreciate it. All right.
No, I'm happy to see growth. Definitely.
Awesome. So before we get ready to rock and roll, or should I say Willie Bounce, or one of the Jamaica's favorite dance move, right? I have a fun question for you.
Okay.
If you were really hungry and really, really sleepy, and you had to choose only one, which would you choose? Would it be sleep or would it be food?
Wow. Okay. Whoa. That's tough, man. Seriously? I have to choose between sleep or food?
Yeah, you only have one.
Hungry, and I'm falling asleep. I'd probably have to do the food.
The food. Okay.
So, I'd definitely do the food. Because the food would probably help me to sleep better. Because you can't really sleep well if you're hungry, if your belly is like rumbling.
Yeah, true that.
So I definitely myself before I attempt to go sleep. That's for sure. Yeah, man. Food.
Okay.
Food
awesome.
running.
Food run things all the time.
Of course. Food and wine.
Before you start to share all those nuggets, and I know that you are going to be sharing, leave your Twitter handle and all your social media contact with us, so that when you do mention something that resonates with our community, that they can actually tweet back at you.
All right. Well, I'm definitely on Twitter as Ingrid Riley, and I'm on Instagram a lot as Ingrid Riley JM. Definitely on Facebook as Ingrid Riley, and I'm definitely on LinkedIn as well. So I spend copious amount of time between Instagram and Facebook.
Also spend a lot of time on Facebook as well. Twitter, not so much, but Instagram a little, and Facebook as well. So great.
I'm going to make Twitter sexy again. I'm having a bunch of Twitter chats, a month of Twitter chats for this year. But anyway, later I'll tell you about that.
Okay, yeah, great. Awesome. I want to hear about that. Somebody listening might be wondering, what is a Twitter chat? Anyway, I'm sure you'll get into it. So I've said a lot in the intro, and I want to kind of hear from the horse's mouth. Who is Ingrid Riley outside of all that I just mentioned?
Just somebody who I'm curious, love to experiment, love to get to know people, love to read, love to observe individuals, love to travel. I definitely have a thing for traveling. If I don't travel, and my skin start to itch. Seriously, if I stay one place in too long, I get very jittery. As somebody who seeks to try and live as fully as I can in every way, and laugh a lot. So yeah, that's pretty much it really. Just and I love to learn, so I read a lot, and I observe people a lot. Yeah.
So pretty much what you've just mentioned is the recipe for a stress-free life, pretty much.
Well, I've learned to these last couple of years. I've learned to live stress free, or at least channel the stress differently. As somebody who was burnt out twice over the last 10 years, I had to learn the hard way how to balance and to not. I shouldn't say balance. It's more like integrate and create this interwoven life that serves me and serves what I want to do.
So now let's get a little digital. All right, so you are pretty much shattering the, as it were, proverbial glass ceiling, right, as it relates to tech in the Caribbean. How were you able to get started in this somewhat predominantly male-oriented field?
I never even thought of it because I had no other intention just to simply follow what I was curious and passionate about. I mean, because in a previous life I was a journalist and as an investigative journalist, and when I kind of reached as far as I could, and having been surrounded by technology, my family owned one of the first internet service providers here in Jamaica, and so being around modems and being one of the first people to get online, being at the Jamaica Observer, then a startup that was one of the first companies to get internet within a corporate environment. I spent copious amount of time online trying to figure it out, find out what is this, what can it do, what does it mean to me or to my country, or whatever it is. And I just kind of fell in love and fell really hard. And I having come from that sort of traditional media background, I was looking at online media. I was looking at, because of all that exposure, I started my first company, which was called Maverick Media. And that was about, okay, now that we have all these things that online and people are actually going online, how about I create a guide that will help people in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, to find what they want to find. So I actually created the first Jamaican and Caribbean internet guide. Back in 1999. Just been following my curiosity and following my passions and learning and trying different things and failing and learning and following what this internet and technology and mobile thing can do for me, can do for my country or my region or my world. Just kind of following my natural curiosity. That's pretty much what I've been doing.
You talked about failing and learning. What were some of the bumps in the road that you encountered?
Do you have the rest of the year? Because there are many.
Pick two, that stood out for you.
This is me.
Oh my gosh.
I'll choose one from the earlier days where, because I had this internet guide and it was my then business partner Susan Leakwe and I, and she was a graphic designer, and we said, hey, I want to do this. Can you help me? Let's put it together. Because of that, and we are also, we had started, she was also part of Maverick Media, and we were doing things like email newsletters of stuff that we were learning and sending out to people that we knew. We were recruited by this American.com called Homeview, and so we put Maverick Media on ice to go and join this team in the hope of, basically the whole thing of you join the team, you get shares, we're going to go IPO, internet millionaire, boom, right?
Yeah, wow, voila.
So I was head of digital content at the time as a chief content officer at Homeview, and we're seeking to basically do what Facebook is doing now: online video, social networking, fresh content, but for the emerging markets, so the Caribbean, parts of Africa, parts of Asia. We had a whole thing about doing maybe around 50 sites, and then when we reach an X point, we'll go IPO and become rich. It never happened. The dot-com bubble popped, and then how they were actually going about content really kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and so I basically somewhat prolonged the process because I didn't like the idea of me being party to or having to sell out my own country for the sake of a payout later on, and so I I allowed myself to be fired and went back to Maverick Media afterwards. So the thing that I learned from that is never put your own company on ice to go and work for somebody else unless you are like at the center of negotiating and really negotiate terms that are actually really good for you. I think we're just kind of happy to be there, happy to learn how to be part of this thing without actually thinking about the business aspect of it carefully, and recognize when a shark comes and knock on your door. Don't put your company on ice. Learn how to negotiate better. Don't do things that are against your value system, because it's always going to come and bite you. And that's what I chose. So I chose to basically not be a part of that train, because I wasn't going to sell people on a bad deal in my estimation, and it was. And so I chose to bow out. And so as soon as I bowed out, like around 2 or 3 months later on, the entire thing crashed. It was to validate the fact that me following my instincts and jumping when I jumped and staying true to who I was and what my value system, told me to do at that particular time. So that was then. The second lesson I've learned recently is just in this whole process of being involved in developing the kickstart in the Jamaican tech entrepreneurship startup ecosystem here and the Caribbean as well. I learned to say no and take care of myself.
So no isn't a dirty word?
It's my favorite word now. Before I used to say no with explanation. Now I just simply say no, I'm not able to do that, and I'm done.
Yeah, no is a complete sentence, yeah.
It's something that we women have been socialized, with the burden bearers and the martyrs and everything. I burnt my martyr cape a couple of years ago when I was recovering from my second burnout. So I learned not to take on the world and to focus on staying in my lane and being truly excellent in my lane. And in doing so, taking care of myself, because you can't give from my empty cup.
You mentioned about following your instincts earlier, and I want you to kind of say a little more on that. How important it is for us as entrepreneurs and even persons who are considering to enter entrepreneurship to follow your instinct. I mean, you're seeing stuff on paper and black and white and so on, but things that you can't really see, but you're actually feeling. How important it is for us to follow our gut.
It is the number one thing. It comes down to trusting yourself. And as an entrepreneur who tends to see things differently, tends to see things before others, you have to trust that what you're feeling and what you're seeing and what you're thinking is right. Even though sometimes it may not work out, but work out as you may want it to, invariably you're going to learn, and that's going to catapult you to the next level or to the next thing. And so it is really important to trust, because what it is about following your instincts is really about trusting yourself. When the world is against you, when everybody is saying you're crazy, you have to stand your ground and stand in who you are and what you know and what you feel, and follow through on that. Because if you don't have that, then you can't navigate the inevitable storms and challenges and from people and things that are going to come. You have to have that unstoppable confidence and courage, even when you get knocked down a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. Which you will.
Which you will. You have got to say, you know what? Yeah, okay, fine. But I'm still going to go at it because this is what I intend to achieve. So I'm going to get back up and try again. You know what I mean? So it, to me, is the number one thing to be a successful entrepreneur.
Some of us don't follow our instinct because, as you say, we don't trust ourselves, but we probably, to a deeper extent, that we don't understand that we're not just physical beings, we're also spiritual beings. And in being a spiritual being, if you will, you feel stuff, you know what I mean? So I believe, I concur, it is really important.
It is, because I learned, I had to, because when you're young and you're unschooled by a lot by your parents and your friends and the world and everything, you tend to be a lot more in tune with who you are and just be yourself in the moment and doing your thing. And when you unfortunately listen to the world, listen to everybody around you tend to somewhat lose your way, and you really kind of have to just kind of get what it taught me, that whole when you bring up that whole energy thing and spiritual thing, it really kind of brought home to me what I had to learn, and whether I could actually say it or explain it to a friend or whatever it is. When, as we say in Jamaica, if your spirit not take somebody, or if your spirit don't take a situation, trust it. You don't need any additional information. That's all you need. And that is the whole energy. When somebody brings a certain energy, or a situation gives us a certain energy, and it makes you either feel good or bad, trust it and act accordingly.
But let's look at the flip side now, right? So when you're a creator of a product or a service or whatever it is, you become so intimately attached to it, and you take it so personal. So to the extent that persons who mean you well and persons who are in a position because they would have probably gone down a particular road before, and they're offering pieces of advice to you, but you refuse to take it because guess what? This is my baby. I know what is best for me. That's the flip side. What do you say to that?
No, I believe that there's always value in success. Always leaves clues. And so if you see somebody, it's like I keep telling people that I do not take financial or money advice from anybody who isn't richer than me. Why the backside am I going to take advice from somebody who has a 9 to 5 about how am I going to make my first $10 million US? Really?
I mean, I would have to take my insurance and in badass entrepreneur. I would have to take that back.
Right. So it's you look and you study to see what others did, and see if there are some things that you can learn from, but not. And you also have to look at the context in which they created that success as well, and is that applicable to you and where you are in your life, where you are in terms of your geographical location, where you are in terms of the stage of your business or stage of your product as well. So there are some things without question that you can learn, but at the same time, in reading and understanding and knowing all of that, you have to distill from that, and you have to know, okay, does this really is right for me, or be prepared to fail. So I hear what you guys did. You guys are great success. I don't think it's going to work that way in my market or with this product. So I'm going to try it anyway, and then if I fail, I'll learn something, and maybe I'll try it again the next time. So that's kind of how I do. But there are definitely some universal truth and universal way of doing certain things that you can say yes to, and then you can apply your own flavor to it, as it were, to get certain things done.
So we are living, in an era now which is technologically sexy, right? What would you say
Very much so.
Yeah, what would you say to persons who they're probably just leaving school? Because one of the things that that led me to start this show from it was on traditional radio, was the fact that I live in an environment where they just teach you that you need to go to school, get a good education so you can get a good job. When you leave, they don't encourage, the environment doesn't encourage you to become an entrepreneur. What is that? I mean, me go send you go to school for how long, and you go leave to come, and you go leave to go start business. What that? Right? But now tech, seem to be very sexy. What can you say to young persons who are contemplating entering this field and kind of undecided, kind of even scared? Because for some, although we have come a far way, it still sounds kind of daunting when you think technology. So talk to us about that.
Gosh, that's such a fully loaded question. I have so much to say, but I'll try and narrow it down to this. First, by saying that we live in an amazing time. We've never had this kind of an opportunity before, where the barrier to launching, to learn, launch, or what I call learn, launch, and prosper from being connected to the internet and being connected to the mobile phones and to social networks. We've never had this opportunity before, ever. And so we have an opportunity to not just simply to go to school and get a job, but to learn new things and create our own jobs. Learn new things and launch your own business. So not everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur, and that's the other point. We're now because of all this access and possibilities. Everybody think that they can be an entrepreneur. Not everybody cannot and should not, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Sometimes you could be the co-founder, or you can be the graphic designer, or be on the team for that, and still live a fantastic life. And so we have to understand, okay, well, what do we really want? And it's such a wonderful period of time where instead of spending time online socializing or being entertained by foolishness from all over the place, use Google as your tool to say, well, what is trending in terms of skills that are going to be needed in the next 3 to 5 years? Where can I learn more about things? What is happening in terms of the demand? What are going to be the new interesting jobs later on? What are going to be new interesting technologies? Use that time to learn and to read about others and what other people are doing your age in different countries, in different continents. Just kind of learn, because in doing that and exposing yourself to all the new thought and the new people and the new products and the new way of doing things, something must resonate with you.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, you know what, I'm interested in that. I'm going to see if I can pursue that. Go and learn that new skill. Go and learn how to blog. Go and learn how to be great at taking photos with my phone. Learn how to, to create software. Learn how to do online events and make money. Whatever the thing, we can learn. And it brings me to my other point, where as a country and as a region, and even the world, but some parts of the world are better than others, but as a region, we're not there yet in terms of how we expand the narrative about what it means to be living digital, doing business digital, or benefiting from living in this digital age. We need to expand the narrative about what exactly is tech. It's not coding. It's not just coding. It's not just software. What you're doing is great. This is digital media. A podcast is a piece of digital media, digital content. How can maybe this become a business? How can I get into this scenario? We have to expand the narrative of what it means to be living and doing business and being engaged in this digital age, and the possibilities for us. It's exciting, and you and I can help to expand that narrative. Not wait on government, not wait on corporate, but just by being who we are and sharing our stories, we can inspire others to go and research and learn and do things differently. Because it's an exciting time. I have a gratitude journal, and I can tell you at least once or twice every week, I put in there that I'm thankful to be connected to the internet. Can I tell you?
Oh my gosh. No, we're living in such awesome time right now. It's amazing, the opportunities that are available. And sometimes we're looking around waiting for persons to come and present stuff to us on a platter.
Yes. Exactly. We're waiting to be picked, as Seth Godin would say. We're waiting for somebody to hand it to us when it's there right in front of us. We already have the connection. Now, what do we do with it? How are we going to spend our time? What are we going to create? What are we going to do and do with others? How do we want to actually express ourselves in this world? You have access to this internet through your phone, through a laptop, through whatever it is. You have to think, God, this is an amazing opportunity. What am I going to do with it? And that's what pretty much led me. Once I got connected to the internet, I just used to spend a lot of time digging and researching and finding out and talking to people, made friends all over the world, asked them. It breaks down so many barriers. You can ask anybody anything on Twitter.
Yes.
You don't have to turn to gatekeeper or no secretary to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you can't speak to Miss So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so." Really? Tweet to them.
Live and direct access. All right.
Yeah,
you talked about earlier, Ingrid, expanding the narrative. And as we contemplate that, give us some tips how to make money online, because sometimes it's right there in our faces, right? And we're not seeing it. Some persons are just not seeing it. And persons may be listening in our community now and wondering, how are some of the ways in which I can monetize online? What are some options?
It boils down to, what are you good at? And what are you passionate about? People have heard this over and over again. But really, it comes down to that. What are you willing to spend a lot of time on getting to be really, really great at? You could say, for instance, somebody is passionate about, how should I put it now? Let me see, from Jamaica and the Caribbean, passionate about beaches. And you say, oh, that's all played out. Really? Where can you find a list of a map of the top 500 beaches in the Caribbean? What do they look like? Where are they? Who goes there? What happens there? You become an authority on these beaches. You have your videos, you have your text, you have your photos. There's a way to monetize that. Yes, that's what I'm saying. So there, you can decide you're going to start a blog. You decide you're going to, you know what, I like soca, right? And you're going to go to every soca party that God sends in this region. And you're going to report on it. You're going to become the soca expert, whatever it is. Or you're going to want to learn how to code. Or you're going to want to learn how to take, since, you know, Instagram has is winning the game of attention now, and people are making money from Instagram. You have a cell phone, and you just seem to have an eye for how you take photos or how you take people or how you take landscape, and you have your own Instagram, and you go ahead and you build your following by showcasing all those things. There are ways to monetize that. You're becoming an influencer. You may want to put that content on T-shirts, or put it, you know, print them out and sell them as prints, whatever it is. There are different ways of doing that, but it comes down to kind of knowing what are you really what are your interests, what are you really good at, what are you really willing to spend the time being best at, because you have this access, and so there's just millions and millions of different ways in which to do that. And remember, you're not just talking about, oh well, is a Jamaica thing or even a Caribbean thing. It's a world thing. There are people across the world who want to know about beaches. They want to know about soccer parties. They want to know about, they want to, you know, oh goodness, I have a certain way in which I take photos of beautiful black women or beautiful black men. You know, and so there's always a market for that. And so you can stay right here in Jamaica, right here in Trinidad, Barbados, wherever you are in the Caribbean or diaspora, and get it done.
Or even start a podcast. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm talking to people like you mentioned earlier, like from all over the world, and they're online, so I can reach them. You can reach anybody.
Yep. Exactly. You can reach anybody. You it's just a matter of, are you fearless enough to, boy, I should probably never I couldn't tweet to Oprah and she says hi, or I couldn't tweet to so and so and, you know, she says whatever. She says, really? Try it.
Really? Exactly.
Have you actually just try it? You know what I mean? I was watching Ava DuVernay film, The 13th, and over the Christmas holidays, and I was tweeting as I was going along and everything, and she not just favorited but retweeted a number of them. Of course, I was over the moon because I have a massive woman crush on Ava DuVernay because of, she's passionate, she's excellent at what she's doing, she's an activist as well. But people want to know what you think about their work. They want to, you know, engage with you some more. That's what the internet does. It has broken all those barriers of communication that you can get to who you want to in such a short period of time and engage with them and learn from them and even build relationships with them. So don't think that is stopping you. Stopping that is you because you're afraid.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And, you know, when your fear becomes more than your hunger, then therein lies the problem. But once your hunger becomes...
Oh, my God, that's beautiful.
Yeah, once your hunger becomes more than your fear, oh, my gosh, there's no stopping you.
No stopping.
Case in point, Ingrid, I mean, we all know JLD, John Lee Dumas from EO Fire, right? All I had to do was send him an email. Yes. He's on the show. I mean, we're communicating. There really is no barrier. The only barrier that we really have is in our minds. And until we begin to break our mental barrier, we won't succeed.
Yeah, and that's the number one thing that any entrepreneur has to get over, whether you're in the Caribbean or in the States. Is that mindset. You have to be fearless. You have to not care about what people say. You have to not care about the fact that you may fail 10 times and you're going to succeed at the 11th. I remember when I was going through a period where I was doubting my own self because I was trying different things. I mean, I've set up and pulled on in excess of 100 blogs, right? Just because I was testing different things, and I've had different events that flopped outright, right?
Yeah, talk to us about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, yeah, seriously. And, you know, I've had Kingston Beta events in the early days where I had 12 people compared to 150, 200 now. Because people just didn't understand what I was trying to do. I wasn't happy then as I am now. And so, you know, when you get a couple of good punches in your gut and in your face, you're like, okay, maybe this is not such a good thing. And you're like, okay, all right. So should I continue? Yes, you better continue. If this is what you're really passionate about. I can't believe I've blinked. And it's been 10 years that I've been doing Silicon the Caribbean tech blogs. 10 years since I did Kingston Beta and kickstarted the Jamaican tech startup system and kickstarted stuff here in the Caribbean as well. 10 years, I blinked, and it's 10 years. And outside of the gray hairs that I have to count, a few gray hairs that I have to count for it, I was like, oh my God, you really just have to go for it and stick to it. If that's what you really want, you have to pick up yourself and dust yourself off and go at it again.
So, as an award-winning blogger for, SiliconCaribe.com, is it just tech that you blog about?
Yeah, it's a technology and digital lifestyle blog. And initially, I started out just focused on startups and entrepreneurs and seeing what people. It's just about, okay, well, I was kind of almost like a magnet for people wanted to tell me stuff. I think probably with that energy that came from being a journalist, and people knew me because I won a couple of awards. So people always was sending me stuff, and it was my business partner at the time who we had a interactive marketing company called Dutchpot Interactive, and she says, "Why don't you start a blog?" I was like, "What's that?" She says, "Go to blogger.com or typepad and choose which one." And I think I bothered her for a good week because I was trying to learn how to set it up myself. But so I blog primarily on how I call it now is that I'm chronicling how the Caribbean is doing tech. So I blog about the people, the products, the places, and what we're doing in embracing embracing technology in the Caribbean, and how we're positioning ourselves to be successful in the global digital economy. So, and the digital lifestyle part, well, that's just really cool stuff, and seeing parallels of how tech or how digital intersects in different sectors, whether it is music or culture or fashion, talking to the people and sharing those experiences and getting insights about different things as well. And it's been fun. I mean, nobody else has done it. Almost 2,000 blog posts from myself and some contributors. We're still the leading Caribbean tech blog. We're the most widely tech blog, and we're the only tech blog that's produced the most Caribbean technology events than any other brand or any other organization. And again, I didn't really realize that, Heneka, until early last year, when I actually stopped. So I said, "Oh my God, Ingrid's going to be 10 years next year." I was like, "Excuse me, what?" And I actually just was able to stop and started to count and look back. And I said, "Holy crap.
Time flies and you're having fun."
Exactly. Having fun and, trying to do some interesting things. But yeah, I didn't realize that I had done so much. I didn't realize that I had sat through, over 800 pitches from Caribbean entrepreneurs from more than 5 countries and a diaspora. I didn't know all of that. I didn't know I had done, almost 90 events, from meetups to conferences to hackathons to Twitter chats to things like Caribbean Bloggers Week and stuff like that. I didn't know until I actually sat down, and it was pretty much that.
Mm-hmm. You also do digital marketing for corporate, right? Is that correct?
Yes, I do.
Tell us about that side of the business.
Well, funny enough, that came first. My business partner and I, we had Dutchpot Interactive, and we were, I think, the first interactive shop in Jamaica and the Caribbean that was headed by 2 women. And she was a graphic designer and the coder. I was the biz dev and the marketer. And we just jumped into it because, of course, we both loved it. And we got, because we were also a little bit ahead of the curve. So we got the big dogs like Jamaica Money Market Brokers and Digicel and Jamaica Stock Exchange, because we were first and we, kind of knew how to position ourselves, and we ignored all the sexist comments from the people in the IT department. It was because of during that time that the idea for Kingston Beta came up, and that the idea for starting a blog came up. because of that interaction with my then business partner Suzanne at the time. We were just exploring and learning while we were making money and building out a team that was executing on digital marketing stuff. And then we had a business breakup. She went back to school. I decided I'm going to continue with.
I like it. I've never heard it put that way. Business breakup.
A business breakup.
Of course, it was a relationship. Of
it
course,
was amicable. It was amicable. So I went on and I took. By that time, I had launched Silicon Carib, and I moved with that. And that time we had launched Kingston, the first Kingston beta, and she didn't want any part of that at the time. So I took all of that and went deeper into internet marketing. So actually, Connectimas, as people know back then, actually was a digital marketing company that just happened to do a tech blog and happened to do tech events. And then it became as things evolved and the mission got greater for the blog and got greater for these tech events. I had to somewhat split the brand. So Silicon Carib is basically the media brand that does the blog and the Caribbean technology events, and then now we have Get Connected, which does the digital marketing stuff. And that was also a hell of a. And so Connectimas is the holding company in the background, and that took an interesting evolution as well. So. But it's been fun. I also did a couple of firsts with as a digital strategist. I'm still the only digital strategist in Jamaica that has actually done strategy, content, and campaign for the entire country. We took the Jamaica Tourist Board's Visit Jamaica Brand Digital back in 2000. Led a team of 11 people and hired them, trained them, and we executed and did some really cool things for them. And been doing stuff for brands across the region as well. So that's been fun too. That actually helped to fund the initial tech events that we had, because nobody understood what the dickens we were doing.
So of course you had to
did
find
not want
funding
to.
That was hard, I'm sure.
Yeah, so it was rough. It did rough. In one of those broke years, I moved back into my mother's house.
And no shame in that, because look at you now.
Oh man, I've had some bumpy roads and gone hungry for it, and light cut off, and eat patty for 3 weeks straight.
You just got that's it. There's a lesson here. You're making. You're smiling about it now, but you're really making a very valid and crucial point. To persons who they see the outcome, they see the end, but they don't know the struggle that you would have gone through to be where you are. And it's important that we understand that, boy, it's not a bed of roses. You know what I mean? We're going to end here. We're just going to do a wrap, but I want you to, because I hear you talk to me earlier about a giveaway that you have for our community. So I want to give you that opportunity to share that information. And while you do that, to also share again your contact details.
All right, cool. Well, I mean, digital strategy is really important to any brand, whether you're a startup or an established business. And so, I'm willing to give like a 1 hour free consultation to any startup or established brand to help them to think about and to craft a digital strategy going forward. And that's a 1 hour free consultation. That's a value of $200. And so and that's from us at Get Connected. And so I can be found. Get Connected is get connect with an ID.com, and that's my marketing side. And of course, the Caribbean tech blog and media company is SiliconCarib.com, and I'm pretty much everywhere online. On Twitter, spend a lot of time on Instagram. Trying to really kind of dig into this Instagram stories thing. I'm loving it because I never got Snapchat.
Oh, okay.
No, not since I got it. I just didn't like it, and so I just never got into it. When Instagram did their stories, I was like, yes, thank you, and moved on. But so I'm everywhere online, and I'm always open to talking to anybody. So tweet to me, hit me up wherever you may see me, and I'll happy to talk to you.
All right, Ingrid, I just want to thank you so much for being a part of the show. You have been inspiring. You have shared some stories of insight with us, and I'm sure that, you'll be hearing from the community as we continue to build this podcast. And as you continue to grow your business, we wish you all the best.
Thank you. And I know you're going to be even more successful with this podcast. I'm really, really proud of you and happy for you.
If you've enjoyed this free podcast, please show your love and support by heading over to henekawatkisporter.com and click in the subscribe in iTunes button. Leave your rating and review, and hopefully you will leave us a 5-star rating. We would really love that. Thank you to our peak performers for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Heneka Watkis-Porter. Remember, you were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win. What good?